Hello, I'm Chris from TechSpert, and today I'm going to get all gropey with a 12-inch beast, Xiaomi's Redmi Pad Pro. It's Xiaomi's latest affordable Android tablet with comparable specs to that OnePlus Pad. And that mighty 12-inch LCD screen was built for multitasking, kicking back with movies, even a bit of gaming on the go. And you got a massive 10,000 mAh battery to keep you going all day. I've been getting to know the Redmi Pad Pro for a good few days now, so here's my review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So let's start with design, and for this I will pop it out of its case, which is much easier said than done. Come on, you bastards. So by itself, the Redmi Pad Pro looks pretty much like any other massive Android tablet. It's a 12-inch rectangle. You got a uniform bezel surrounding that screen, and it's just thick enough so you can comfortably grip this tablet without your thumbs straying onto that panel by accident, but also not so chunky that this tablet becomes an absolute behemoth. 571 grams, it's reasonably lightweight for a tablet this sort of size. And the Redmi Pad Pro is reasonably skinny as well, slips without too much of a struggle into most backpacks. And those pointless rear cameras don't poke too far out of the arse end either. Although those cameras do mean you get a slight bit of rattle when this thing's sat on a desk. Now up front, it's a Gorilla Glass 3 display sadly. I was hoping for a bit of Victus action, a bit more shatterproof just in case you have to fumble and drop this thing. And then the rest of the Redmi Pad Pro is a metal unibody. Nice and seamless, looks very smart indeed. Only a minimal bit of branding slapped around back. Certainly seems solid enough to put up with plenty of punishment. Not too easily scratched or scuffed. I love the fact you've got this matte textured finish to it as well. So again, that helps to hide greasy, grimy fingerprints and such forth if you are clutching it a lot. And you got a choice of 3 colours for the Pad Pro. You can either grab it in mint green, ocean blue, or this here graphite grey model. Of course, they had to send me the boring one. There's a couple of design features I really appreciate here, including the rounded corners, which just make the Redmi Pad Pro a little bit more comfortable to clutch. And I also love how this tablet actually comes with a headphone jack, which has been missing in action on quite a few tablets I've reviewed recently. Right, I'm just going to slap the tablet back into its keyboard case. Not because my Weasley boy biceps are aching or anything, I just can't be asked to hold it anymore. Now this tablet runs Android 14, but you've also got Xiaomi's HyperOS launcher smothered lovingly on top. And this comes with the promise of 2 Android OS updates and 3 years of security patching. Not the most generous commitment out there, admittedly, but pretty much what I was expecting for this tablet. And of course, Xiaomi fans will be right at home with HyperOS, but if you've never used a Xiaomi device, well, no worries. They haven't buggered about with Android too much. You've got a separate control center. You can access all your toggles and your smart home goodies. You've also got the old apps tray, which surprisingly isn't absolutely laden with crapware. Normally Xiaomi stuffs on loads of bollocks like Facebook, LinkedIn, Booking.com, but here you got a couple of bits like Mi Canvas and Mi Mover and Mi Video, and the security app, which is actually pretty helpful. Some great features like the storage cleaners and Game Turbo. Well, that's basically it, so you won't have to waste an entire afternoon uninstalling rubbish. And as for the storage situation, where you got a choice for 128 or 256 gigs of the stuff, and if you are running low on storage, well, the good news is you can actually expand it via microSD memory card up to a further 1.5 terabytes. And while there's no fingerprint sensor built into the Xiaomi Redmi Pad Pro, you do have a bit of face unlock action, so just tap that power button, the camera will scan your mug, and as you can see, you're pretty much straight into your desktops every time. Even when the lighting's not fantastic, it tends to work alright. And as you'd expect, multitasking is a piece of piss. Just tap these wee dots up at the top of any app and you can immediately get a bit of split screen action on the go. Then just select another app to fill up the other half of the screen. Now you can quickly and easily get these to trade places if you want. You can resize their screen space, all the usual shenanigans. I've noticed a couple of funny bits in the last few days, like for instance, if you want to pop out that YouTube video as a floating window, for some reason that's not allowed. Seems to work absolutely fine for other apps like Paramount Plus. I'm not really sure why YouTube has a bit of a fit. And you can only get 2 floating windows on the go at once as well. If you try to open up another one, it will simply overwrite one of the other ones you've already got on the go. And as usual, you've got a good bit of cross-device support using the catchily titled Xiaomi Interconnectivity. So you can use your phone apps right there on the tablet. You can quickly and easily trade files, all kinds of stuff. And likewise, your smartphone notifications will pop up on the Redmi Pad Pro's display so you don't miss anything important. And only a handful of Xiaomi blowers are currently supported, including the likes of the Xiaomi 14 and the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, but apparently the selection will be expanding in the near future. And like most modern tablets, the Xiaomi Redmi Pad Pro comes with a selection of optional accessories sold separately, including this here keyboard dock. And this acts as a protective cover when the actual tablet's not in use, so it's absolutely covered in filth and muck from sitting on various kitchen counters and tables. And then when you're ready for action, simply unfurl the case and the tablet snaps into place magnetically. That screen is tilted at a comfortable angle for working at a regular desk or table or whatever, but it's sadly not adjustable. And as usual, working off of your lap ain't exactly the most comfortable setup, but the keyboard cover and the tablet pair up quickly and easily over Bluetooth. But those keys are a reasonable size, a couple of small grumbles such as the dinky one-row enter key, that's about it. And although they feel quite plasticky, the travel's respectable for a keyboard cover, and I managed a decent touch type and pace. It certainly makes smashing out emails, essays, etc. on the move much easier. No backlighting, however, so you are relying on the glow of that screen if you're tapping away in the evenings. And of course, because it's a Bluetooth keyboard, you don't actually have to have the tablet connected to the keyboard at all. You can use it at a distance if you like. And also, if you've got any actual creative talent, unlike my good self, you might be tempted by the Redmi Smart Pen Stylus. No less than 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity, the same as OnePlus's stylus. Certainly ideal for sketching, scribbling, whatever you want to do. And by the way, no, I absolutely did not draw this masterpiece here. I'm just piddling about with it and sort of pretending that I did. And sadly, there's no magnetic connection or anything posh like that. You can't just slap it on top of the tablet when you're done. But you do get this handy little flappy bit that you can kind of chuck it into on the keyboard case. So that holds it in place, which is nice. And likewise, you'll have to remember to actually plug the bugger in via Type-C USB when you want to charge it up, just like you do with the keyboard cover. Now, one of the highlights of the Redmi Pad Pro is certainly that 12.1-inch LCD display. It's a 16:10 aspect ratio, so well set up for multitasking, not quite so well set up for kicking back with some cinematic fare. Do get some fairly thick letterbox in there. I'm still quite happy to relax with a bit of Netflix or whatever with this thing. The 2560x1200 pixel resolution keeps images nice and crispy. And you've got surprisingly strong contrast considering this isn't an OLED display as well. You've got a bit of 12-bit color reproduction support here and support for Dolby Vision streaming in the likes of Netflix and other services. And while it's not really an anti-reflective display here on the Redmi Pad Pro, the brightness does max out at around 500-600 nits, so I found that was strong enough to use this thing outdoors without having to squint too much. This does help to cancel out the worst of any glare that you might encounter. And the refresh maxes out at 120 Hz. And you've also got yourself a quad speaker type situation set up here. Full Dolby Atmos support, and that audio is easily beefy enough so you can clearly hear what's going on, even in the rowdiest of households. Bluetooth streaming works a charm, and as I mentioned before, you've actually got a headphone jack on here as well, which many rivals are missing. So certainly as far as the display and the audio goes, the Redmi Pad Pro is right up there with the very best tablets I've tested in 2024. Now you got yourself an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, which is stuck away in the center of that top bezel when the Redmi Pad Pro is in landscape mode. That's ideal positioning for a bit of Skype and Zoom in, whatever your video chat app of choice is. So it looks like you're sort of vaguely looking at the camera when you are in fact just staring at the screen. Of course, you do have a lovely upwards view, so if you've got a nice bit of double chin action or anything like that on the go, that's all going to be perfectly on show. Those optics don't struggle too much when dealing with strong backlighting either, as you can see there, no worries. And the built-in mics do a great job of picking up on your voice, even when you're a fair distance away from the Redmi Pad Pro. So it's great news if you are Skype and Zooming with your parents or whatever. You can wander around doing a bit of cleaning, cooking, while your mum fills you in on your dad's latest bowel movements. And you've also got yourself an 8-megapixel rear camera here on the Redmi Pad Pro. Still not sure what the point of cameras on the back end of tablets is. If you can figure it out, let me know in the comments below. And no real complaints on the performance of the Redmi Pad Pro either. It's powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 chipset, plus either 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. I've got the 8 gig version here. The everyday experience is pleasingly smooth, helped along by the 120Hz refresh rate of that display. Can happily split screen multitask with a couple of apps side by side. And gaming is not a problem either. Even the likes of Genshin Impact on the higher graphics settings ran with a fairly stable frame rate. helped along by that built-in gaming mode with the performance boost tool. Of course, if you do want to play the likes of Genshin Impact, Call of Duty or whatever on the Redmi Pad Pro, I would highly recommend using a Bluetooth game controller. But still, that screen was perfectly responsive, and I found that this mighty tablet barely began to heat up at all, even when I was gaming for over an hour. Again, on that Genshin Impact with the higher graphics settings, the frame rate remained fairly stable. And let's end on another highlight of the Redmi Pad Pro, and that is the battery life, because Xiaomi has managed to stuff a 10,000 mAh capacity cell inside of that shiny rectangle, and that's bigger even than the OnePlus Pad. And I found this past week that with general mixed app use, the battery tends to drain at the rate of around 8% an hour, no matter what you're up to. Even video chatting on the likes of Skype and Zoom, which tends to drain batteries pretty fast. You'll get roughly 14 hours of non-stop video streaming on a single charge, similar to what you get with the OnePlus Pad. It's only gaming that seems to sap that power pretty fast, but even playing the likes of Genshin Impact non-stop, you'll still get around 5-6 hours of gaming action before it's dead. Sadly, however, the recharging speed's not quite as nippy as some rivals like the OnePlus Pad. You've got 33 watt wired charging support, so you'll have to bung a cable in it for quite a while before that's powered back up if the tablet's fully drained. And anyway, there you have it, my lovelies. That is my full final frank review of the Xiaomi Redmi Pad Pro after using it as my tablet for the past week or so. A cracking wee tablet. Don't know the UK pricing at the time I shot this video, sadly, which is always annoying, but I have shot it pre-launch. Hopefully it can undercut that OnePlus tablet, but of course you will have to stump up extra for the keyboard and stylus if you want all that shenanigans. So that's what I reckon would be great to your thoughts down in the commenty bits down below. Please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone. Love you.